welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I am Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts then, Aditya Agarwala of Yes Securities, along with Amit Shah of India Bulls Ventures, and Dyaneshwar Padwal of KIFS Securities now join us on the show. Before we begin with the show with our analyst, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Adani Green Energy. Good afternoon, Yash. I think this counter has been doing extremely well for itself. What is the chart indicating now?
So it's a positive call coming in on Adani Green, Darshan. So it has moved up considerably, given the fact that in just the last 6 trading sessions, we've seen the stock go from the levels of almost 57 or 58 to as high as now quoting at around 76.5. Now with that, the stock has managed to break above its previous high of around 73.5. And with that, what we've seen is that the ADX indicator, which generally is an indicator of the trend, that continues to move ahead. So the plus DMI line, which is the green line over here, that continues to move upwards, and the white line, which is the ADX line, which shows the strength in the underlying trend, that has also moved up considerably. So typically a reading above the mark of 20 indicates that the trend is very strong, and that number now stands at over 30. So the ADX indicator is suggesting a positive a signal that there is further strength in the trend, and the stock too has moved up considerably, crossed above its previous high of 73, and it's all set to reach further high as far as Adani Green is concerned.
Okay, do you have any other past trends that showed that anytime this happened, how much the counter moved?
So it's a recently listed stock, so there isn't much history as far as the price action is concerned. But currently, as far as the ADX indicator is suggesting, and it's historically been a good indicator for most of the stocks in terms of determining the strength, and that is indicating that we could see further strong hands get into the counter, and we could see higher levels for Adani Green.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Yash. Aditya, what's your sense of Adani Green?
Without a doubt, it's an extremely strong counter. Bulls are charging in around 45. Stock has from 45 it's jumped to around 80 levels. Slightly on overbought. Probably a correction to levels of 70 will be good levels to get into the stock. So I would like to accumulate from current levels to about all the way down to 70 for targets of about 85-90 on the
Okay, Amit, what's your sense?
Yeah, clearly in an uptrend. Actually, even before Yash actually covered it, I was just looking at this stock today itself. Yeah, it's in a clear, strong uptrend, and I think even from this zone, yes, of course, there could be 5-7%, 10% kind of a down move since the stock has run up so much. But that would be just a small correction, probably in a very, very strong uptrend. And I do see this stock even moving up, even from these levels around. Another 30-40% kind of an upside is definitely possible.
Okay, and Dyaneshwar, what's your sense?
Yeah, Darshan, well, after a year of almost a year of consolidation, the stock is managed to move out of the consolidation and march into the uncharted territory. And if you look at the monthly chart, it clearly shows the bullish momentum. And we have observed that whenever we got the breakout on the monthly chart, so we'll get a shakeout on the daily. So any dips comes towards the 68, 67, so that could be a great buying opportunity.
Okay, that's it. Consensus view on Adani Green. Buy on dips is also the strategy that's been spoken about, but a consensus bullish view that's coming in on the counter. Let's begin the first round of the charts. First up is Aditya Agarwala. He has a chart this time around on Godrej Consumer Products. Let's see what the chart is indicating. It has been rather weak for a while. It's been consolidating, but you believe that there could be more buying now?
Yes, definitely. So from what we see, as you just said, the stock has been in a corrective mode, and once the correction went extreme from oversold levels, the stock went into probably a falling channel, we can say this, or a falling wedge. As we can clearly see, we've joined the highs and we got a downward sloping trend line. We joined the lows, we again got a downward sloping parallel line. And what the stock recently did was it had broken out from the channel in previous week. It retested the breakout, and in this week again it's back above the channel. So these are strong bullish signs. As you can clearly see, the lows were around 650 to about 655 zone. From there, stock continuously bounced back, and it's trading on a strong hand in trade today when the markets are so volatile. So these are bullish signs as far as the stock is concerned. Again, if I switch back to the RSI has started making higher highs and higher lows. As you can clearly see, the previous low was somewhere around 35, then it moved close to about 39, and now it's clearly trading above the 50 mark. So this tells me that there is strength coming back into the stock, as RSI is also pointing out. I would like and look at this bullish candles, the 3 bullish candles that we got after that a consolidation.
These are weekly candles.
These are weekly candles. So these are strong signs. Look at the strong size of the real body of the weekly candle. So this tells me that the bulls are back in the stock. They're buying the stock at current levels. They're accumulating, and probably a movement above anywhere above 700 will take the stock higher to levels of 750 in coming weeks.
Has this been supported by high volumes also?
Volumes
because it seems that here there will be volume,
Yes.
but the last 3 is there volume?
Within the consolidation, the volume drives generally, and the volume did drive during the consolidation phase, which is a very healthy sign. The moment stock starts to trade above 700, I guess the volumes will be back, which will propel the stock higher to levels of 750. And
okay, it's at 690, 687 currently. What's the ideal strategy?
So I would buy at current levels. I would like to accumulate on minor declines to levels of 670 as well. My first target is 725, a conservative target. Above that, I believe stock can test levels of 750 in coming weeks. One can place a stop somewhere around 650. This is a very strong support zone. I doubt the stock will break below this. Along on the daily charts, if we have a daily chart, stock again has started to trade above its 200. So this is the daily chart. As you can see, this pink line is the 200 DMA. Stock failed to trade above the 200 DMA for long now, and finally the stock has managed to trade above its 200 DMA out here. What the stock has done is broken out from a triangle consolidation, and we can clearly see this is a positive reversal on the RSI as well. Lows were the same. RSI made a lower low, so this is a positive reversal, which tells me that the stock went into oversold territory at a higher elevated levels. So these are bullish signs as far as the stock is concerned. I will definitely go in for a long trade out here for targets of 725, 750.
Okay, and is this a short-term trade or is it
this would be more of a longer-term trade, because stock doesn't move that fast. It's more of a slow mover. So it will be more of like a monthly trade for targets of 750.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Aditya. Amit, what's your sense on Godrej Consumer?
Yeah, I mean, the stock is coming back after, the large fall that it had seen. Stock has made some base for itself and now is showing signs of positiveness. The moving averages have shown positive crossovers. They are sustaining. My sense is it will head towards that 730 to 750 kind of a zone on the upside. That's a bit of sticky area on the upside, but possibly it should head towards there. Beyond that, we'll have to see what kind of life it has and how it sustains below that 750 kind of a region. But in the near term, positive.
Okay, what's your sense, Dyaneshwar?
Well, Darshan, on a higher time frame chart, yes, pennant pattern has been falling wedge pattern has been given a breakout, but if you look at the daily time frame chart, so it is clearly showing after making a pole formation towards the northern trajectory, the pennant pattern has been broken out in today's trading session. So we need to look at the price of 670 level. That would be a very crucial level, because 200 moving average is placed near 670. So current market price is a good buying opportunity. I will place a stop loss near 670 on a closing basis for an initial leg of up move towards the 720, 740.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Godrej Consumer. The next stock we want to talk about is on Indraprastha Gas, and that is something that Amit is speaking about. Pull up the chart. Obviously, over the past few days, it has been rather active.
Yes.
What's your sense? What should one do?
Sure. So one among these gas theme stocks, only 2 stocks are the strongest, I would say. One is the IGL and the other one is Petronet.
Okay.
So these are clearly outperforming vis-a-vis, the GAILs and MGLs and of the world. So basically what we are seeing here is a nice 1.5 year consolidation. Prior to that consolidation, if you can see, this was a very, very strong uptrend, and it did manage to not shed much of its gains of the past upward direction uptrend, which is very, very important, because what it says is the holders of the stock are very, very confident, and it's just more of a sideways consolidation than a correction, and a nice 1.5 year uptrend, and basically again a breach of that on the upside into all-time highs and a breakout. So basically it's a no-brainer. Basically it's clearly outperforming, and you want to be in stocks which are outperforming even in such environment where things are not so good for the broader markets. So you just stay with the outperformance.
Okay,
basically.
so there's no technical indicator as such, but you're looking at the chart.
Yeah, I am anyway not a big fan of frankly indicators. I focus mainly on price and volumes basically.
Okay, so basically it's at 373 right now. What is the ideal strategy one should look at?
Sure. So one can actually even buy here. Of course, if you get dips, it's always welcome to buy. The stop loss is 316. It's more of a positional play. The target on the upside is 470, which is decent upside from here. I'm expecting this thing to play out over the next 2 to 4 months.
Okay, it's a slow mover that way, so it's a positional
not necessarily. The objective probably can get achieved, but I don't think it will spend much of time sideways now. Now since it has broken out, it will be a fast mover. Basically.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Amit. Dyaneshwar, what's your sense on IGL?
Well, Darshan, if you look at the higher time frame charts, mainly on weekly, so we are clearly observing the cup and handle pattern has been broken out, and it is closed well above the 350 marks, and right now stock is quoting at 373. So any dips comes towards the neckline of 350, 365. So that would be a great buying opportunity. Keep a stop loss of 340 on a closing basis for an initial leg of up move towards the 400, 420.
Okay, that's the view. And Amit, what's your sense?
So
I'm sorry, Aditya, what's your sense?
Definitely, it's a strong counter. Has been making higher highs, higher lows. So the bulls are there definitely in the stock. My initial target will be 380 to about 385. There is a minor hiccup at 385, a trendline resistance. If it crosses 385, then I'll continue to hold on to the stock. If it fails to cross 380, 85 zone, probably I'll book out about 60-70% of my profits in the trade and wait for a dip back to levels of 350, 360 to get into the stock. But overall, if I want to hold on to it for about 6-7 months, definitely it's a strong one.
Okay, they're definitely positional call coming in on the counter IGL. The next chart we have is a chart on Britannia, and that is what Dyaneshwar is speaking about. Let's take a look at what's happening. Obviously, a big drop and then consolidation and then an up move. Are you betting on the trend line being broken now?
Yes. Well, Darshan, before we like to introduce that, here we are doing a top-down approach. Where firstly we are analyzing the FMCG sector. If you look at the relative rotation graph, so FMCG sector is moving into the leading quadrant, wherein the relative momentum and relative strength is very high. So in that space, Britannia has looked quite impressive, because recently we observed that on a higher time frame charts, million weekly, the stock is consolidating in a flag bullish pattern. So here is the Britannia is facing a minor resistance of 3100. But yes, definitely if you look at the RSI, can you just zoom in the RSI? So if you look at the RSI has already given a falling wedge channels, falling wedge breakout, and it is moving towards a northern trajectory. So that is an indication for an price to move to should give a breakout on the flag pattern. So we are betting on the Britannia. Keep a stop loss of 2800 for an initial leg of up move towards the 3600.
Oh, okay, 36. So what's the time frame you look?
Yeah, it should be more than a month, because right now we are seeing a very volatile market. So the 3600 target would be easily chased after 1 month.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Amit, what's your sense on Britannia?
Darshan, in the excitement of the tax cut, I mean, a lot of stocks had very sharp up moves. Britannia also had that kind of a sharp up move, but it significantly closed way below its intraday highs. I don't know if it's a freak trade or something, but it made a high of 35.83 and then closed at 3050. I would actually give it a pass for now, because essentially it still stays in that sideways range. I would give it a pass for now.
Okay, and
so I'll go in for a long trade for targets of 3110 to about 3120. That will be my initial target. There is an ample resistance around 31 mark to about 3120 zone. If stock fails to trade above that, then probably again there can be a fallback to levels of sub 3000 levels. So for the time being, my initial target will be only 3100 to about 3120, which is about 50 rupees upside from current levels.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. Let's begin with the second round of charts with Aditya's second chart, and it's on Gale this time around. Let's pull up the chart. If you can have Aditya speak about it. It's a negative chart this time around. Why are you negative?
So as we can see from the chart out here, a stock has clearly broken down from a bearish flag pattern, and it's trading significantly below that support line of the flag pattern at current levels of 125. If I go back slightly on time, around 2008-18, it made a high which was a completion of a 5-wave up move. From that point of time, stock has actually started its corrective move, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the current wave, which is the start of post this breakdown, flag breakdown, is the corrective wave wave 4, corrective wave 5, I'm sorry. So I believe a stock will continue to slide down given the fact that the way the stock has been falling. And look at this freak high. This was exactly at 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level, which is a significant mark. And from there, stock has started its downward trajectory. I believe in the coming trading weeks, stock will easily slide down to levels of 110, probably from current levels in a matter of a few weeks. If I switch back to a slightly higher time frame chart on a monthly chart, stock has broken down. See, look at this support line. This is from 2015. If I join the lows, I get a upward sloping trend line, and the highs also. So this was a channel in which the stock was moving. It has broken down from the channel. It tested the neckline, failed to close above that neckline on a monthly time frame, and it started its downward trajectory. So these are massive ominous signs, bearish signs, and look at the bearish candles back to back on 2 monthly, and from there it started its downward trajectory now. So there are high chances stock will slide down. RSI again is showing signs of weakness. It is trading below the neutral level of 50, and it has failed to cross above 40 as well. So these are weak signs. It is slated to go lower, and stock will also test lower levels. So I'm going in for a short on GAIL at current levels. Probably one can add on to it on slightly pull back to levels of 127 as well, with a stop at 137 for targets of 110 to about 100.
Okay, ideally, should people short at this level?
At
also?
current levels, yes, definitely one should go ahead and short, because on the daily chart it's broken down from a bearish flag pattern, which are extreme weak signs, and the stock will slide past to levels of 110 to about 100.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Dyaneshwar, what's your sense on GAIL?
Well, after 7 to 8 weeks of consolidation, we have seen that the renewed weakness is clearly observed on the chart. So 125 is a great selling opportunity. Keep a stop loss of 130 for an initial leg of down move towards the 110. But before that, the bears will face a first line of defense towards the 123 mark. So if it is break 123 has been broken, so we may see a sharp fall off in GAIL.
Okay, and Amit?
Yeah, I mean, GAIL is definitely a weak counter. In fact, during my conversation on IGL, I did mention the weakness broadly in the sector, and only a few of them are on the stronger note. So yes, definitely GAIL is a weak stock, but around that 120, there is some sort of a small double bottom kind of a formation. So only once it breaches there, I'll actually look to go ahead and further short the stock.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on GAIL. The next chart is on L&T, and that's by Amit. Let's pull up the chart and let's see what exactly it's indicating. It's a buy call that's coming in. Explain this ADX theory that you've put up.
Sure. Possibly the ADX has come, probably maybe I didn't want to cover it. But anyway, see, basically this is a very strong, between two candles, but this is a pole, a sharp pole, a flag pattern that is developing right now. It's a conditional buy. I'll only look to buy above 1460 on the upside. Today it just made a high of 1450 if I'm not mistaken. So it's a conditional buy which will then give the momentum on the upside, which also would confirm the breakout on the upside.
That will be on the spot level.
The spot level, yes. So it's a nice pattern. I think not the entire sector, but Cements has broken out into all-time highs. L&T is showing strength. So not the entire capital goods sector, but a few stocks within the sector are definitely showing good signs of outperformance. And L&T is also one of them. So basically, I look to buy above 1460. The first target that I have for L&T is 1580. But I think beyond that, it's headed towards 1700 on the upside. I'll keep a stop of 1379 on the upside. The first target probably should be achieved probably in less than 2 weeks. The 1700 target can take a month or two.
Okay, so it's a conditional buy that's
conditional
coming in.
Conditional buy above 146.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Amit. Aditya, what's your sense on L&T? Would you be a buyer?
Yes, I would go ahead and buy the stock. There was strong up move on the 20th and 23rd of September, following which stock went into a sideways consolidation or a channel, downward sloping channel. It's on the verge of a breakout, yet to break out, as Amit pointed out, above 1450 to about 1460 is the breakout level, the pivot point above which stock should head higher to levels of 1600. I wouldn't shy away from taking a bet above 1450, definitely on the cards. I would see 1600 in the coming trading weeks. We'll place a stop somewhere around 1380.
Okay, Dyaneshwar, what's your sense?
Yeah, I agree with Amit, because on 23rd September the area gap has been created, and we usually observe that the area gap has been covered by the next move. So it has been covered well, but the level of 1450 need to be watched, because that is an a gap level. So in today's trading session as well, the stock has taken a gap resistance near about 1450. So I should go conditionally buy. If it is close above 1450, then only I would go long in L&T by keeping a stop loss of 1420 for an initial leg of up move towards the 1560.
Okay, I think the concessional view that's coming in or buy on L&T is the indicator that buy only above 1415, 1460. So that's the consensus that's coming in, not at these levels. So it's a positional buy that's been spoken about. And the last chart we want to talk about, at least from a guess before Yash comes back in again, is on Grasim, and that's by Dyaneshwar. Remember, Grasim's been all over the place. Yesterday it managed to move up significantly in the first half on the move that Vodafone Idea saw, and then it gave off most of the view. But what's your sense? You believe there could be more downside?
Yeah, on a higher time frame charts, mainly on weekly, we are seeing a beautiful head and shoulder formation has been formed, and it is breaking down the neckline. And if you could see, the two shoulders has been created, head has been created, neckline has been broken down. If you look at the RSI, can you just zoom in the RSI? In case of RSI has also given a very good signal of intermediate trend line breakdown. So it eventually pushed the RSI towards the southern trajectory, and it is trading below the 60 level. So that is in bullish zone. Can you just go to the price? And if you look at the price, so we have seen that the neckline has been broken down, and stock has seen a massive sell off towards the 900 levels towards the 700 levels. So I could say any pullbacks comes towards the 720, 730. So that could be a great selling opportunity. Current market price is not a good selling opportunity because risk reward ratio is not favorable. So any rise comes towards the 720, 730. So that could be a great selling opportunity. Traders can keep a stop loss of 786 for an initial leg of down move towards the 550. So this would be a support for an 550.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Dyaneshwar. What's your sense, Aditya, on Grasim?
I would not short the stock at current levels, definitely. The stock had broken out from its 2008 to about 2014 highs. So 1640 was a zone where the stock wasn't able to cross for a long period of time from 2008 till 2014. After 2014, stock did manage to break out of these highs of 640, and from there stock made a high of 1300. Now again it fell back and it recently tested those levels of 640, and from there stock bounced back a couple of days back. That strong up move was from that level of 640. So it has already tested that strong support zone of 640. For those matters, I believe stock can test again levels of 750 to about 800 on the upside. Probably I will I'll be a contra trader on this. The risk to reward is in favor of going long. I would place a stop somewhere around 640 and probably go long on the stock for targets of 800 in the coming trading session.
Okay, and what's your sense, Amit?
Yeah, I mean, see, the pattern that Dyaneshwar was talking about is definitely something which one needs to watch out very carefully. But I would not, I mean, see, this is under formation, and we need to even, since this is happening over a long period of time, and which has still not happened, I would actually look to, watch it over the next month or two, because such patterns, they develop and they take its own time, because if it's developing as mentioned, it's going to have a prolonged downside, which could even be 1.5 years, 2 years kind of a downside. But we need to see the evidence of that happening on a confirmed basis. So right now I would not short the stock at this point of time, but at the same time I would not even go long. I would just be on the sidelines and watch it very carefully. If it breaks down from the head and shoulder, gives a closing on a monthly basis, I would watch it out very closely.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Grasim, and Yash is back with his second stock this time around, and IT seems to be in focus because the chart that he selected is HCL Tech. What's the view?
IT is clearly in focus. We had TCS come out with numbers yesterday. Infosys will be coming out with numbers today. It is already up 2%. But HCL Tech is another name which is doing very well for itself in today's day of session. And with that, it has come within kissing distance of changing the trender color. So the trender line, which is the one in red, it has come time and again close to breaching it, but it has not successfully taken it out. So for it to close above the trender line on a daily basis, it will have to close above the mark of 1082. The stock currently is at 1078.5. Should it manage to close above that mark, we'll see that the trend line would flip its color from red to green. It has on an intraday basis for the last several trading sessions, in fact last 4 to 5 trading sessions, gone above that mark, but it's not able to hold above it. So shouldn't manage to do that, we'll finally see the trend flip its color, and if that happens, historically as we've seen 3 out of the last 4 times that it has managed to give a positive crossover. On an average, on a closing basis over the next 1 month, the stock has managed to run up almost 6%.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on HCL Tech. Aditya, what's your sense?
I would completely agree with Yesh. There are multiple occasions when the stock has tried to cross this mark of 1080, 1090. It has failed to do so. There's a consolidation going on, I would say, between 1040 to about 1090 zone. If it manages to close above 1090, I would definitely be a buyer in the stock. Somewhere around 1200 to about, 1150 to about 1200, stock can see strong support area will be 1000.
Okay, Amit?
Yeah, so around 1000 area, the stock has been taking support, but you know, at the same time, it's not finding that energy to move up. It's essentially doing nothing basically. Yes, relatively compared to TCS and all, it has done better, but still there's not much of energy. And the point to note here is the IT index itself has given a negative head and shoulder breakdown on the downside. So I would actually give it a pass mostly for the entire IT sector, because even if it, some stocks within the sector would definitely see downside. Some may just stay sideways, but there's still not the energy to move on the upside. So I would give IT sector a pass.
Okay, and Dyaneshwar?
Yeah, from 2016 we have seen that the HCL Tech is moving in a clear uptrend, but we have not seen that much of reaction towards the northern trajectory. It is consolidating in a narrow range, and just now Amit said that if IT indices has made a head and shoulder, so if you look at closely on the HCL Tech, so it is in the formation of head and shoulder. The right shoulder, head, left shoulder and head has been formed, and now it is into the formation of right and shoulder. If stock is managed to break the 1000 level, so we may see the further escalation towards 800 mark.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on HCL Tech. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank my guests who come in today, Dyaneshwar, Amit and Aditya. Thank you so much for coming in today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.